Joining us now is Ben Porritt, McCain campaign national spokesperson. And Ben, what's your reaction to those numbers?
Well, we've seen a variety of polls on a variety of different subjects, and look, I think that tonight is going to be the night where John McCain gets another chance to talk to these voters and really continue to lay out his economic agenda. So we're not paying too much attention to the polls here. We're moving forward for the next 20 days.
Ben, I want to ask you about William Timmons. He's the man John McCain has named to head his presidential transition team. We now know that Timmons helped a lobbying effort on behalf of Saddam Hussein in the mid-1990s at a time when the Iraqi dictator wanted to ease sanctions against his regime. Why doesn't that disqualify Timmons from being part of the McCain campaign?
I'm actually not too familiar with his history, but what I do know is that, throughout our campaign, when we've talked about this a lot, we've had no associations with any lobbyist on our campaign, and I think that there's questionable associations with Barack Obama that needs to be addressed before we even get into discussing the transition. We need to make sure.
Wait a second. So you have no association with Charlie Black? I mean, he's a lobbyist. He was apparently lobbying from the senator's boss. Go ahead.
David, let's get back to the question here. Before we talk about a transition team, let's talk about electing the next president. And I think that we need the next 20 days before we begin, dissecting the transition point here. I think John McCain has a record of dealing with those in Washington and taking on special interests. So, I don't think that his credibility is at stake here. I think that John McCain, is going to. Let me just take here. We need the next 20 days before we even begin discussing the transition.
Okay, fair enough. I want to ask you about the CBS New York Times poll. It's a poll of, and it asks several different things. For example, how has your opinion changed recently among registered voters with Barack Obama and John McCain? And you look at all these sort of figures. Why has your view of McCain gotten worse? His attacks on Obama, 23%. And again, how has your opinion changed? It's gotten better for Obama, 17%, McCain only 7%, stayed the same, 76 Obama, 72 McCain. Gotten worse, 7% for Barack Obama, 21% voters say that their opinion of John McCain has gotten worse. How do you explain that?
Well, again, David, I think that there's so many polls out there on so many different subjects, and again, this isn't something that we're necessarily paying attention to. What we are paying attention to is finding the time to speak directly to the voters, whether it's at our rallies and events or it's at the debate tonight. And I think that right now, you know this, and so do I, that people are concerned about the economy. Tonight's debate will focus on that, focus on domestic issues and situations. And so I think that, after tonight and over the next 20 days, we feel that although we have an uphill battle, we have the right man to lead us for the next 4 years. And I think that when we continue to drive home this message, talk to our supporters, we're confident that on November 4th, people are going to select John McCain.
All right, Ben Porritt, the spokesman for the McCain campaign. Ben, thanks for coming on.
Thanks, David.